this is Aromie here. Welcome back to our life. Baxter DLC. We're here at the country club. Hello, gorgeous. I wonder if he's gonna talk about the moment that was here that one night. You were led out to the recognizable dining area right away by a host, where a table of two was nestled in a quiet corner. He passed through menus and excused himself. A woman in a handsome waistcoat and jacket was beginning to light candles for the coming night. She paused that to attend to the new guests. Good evening, I'll get you water immediately. Is there anything else I can bring? Good evening to you. One moment. Did you become familiar with our offerings? Would you like to order now? Yes, please. You had mentally gone over what you wanted on the drive. Baxter smiled sweetly at the waitress, who readied a notepad to take your orders. It got sorted shortly, and she too took her leave. After that, there was nothing to do but make yourselves comfortable. It felt nice to have some time to relax. You reclined in your chair, stretching out your legs, and idly peered around. You'd come at a good time. It was the middle of the week, and earlier in the evening that many people would go out for dinner. As it was, you had the entire place to yourselves. Baxter shifted into his seat, the wicker creaking quietly. He rested an arm casually over the back of it. The bag with his souvenir was sitting to one side on the table in front of him. I forgot I got him that souvenir. He had brought it from the car. He must be intending to open it here. It looked like he was a birthday boy, preparing to unwrap his present at a celebratory meal. He chuckled, imagining that. A soft sigh broke the comfortable silence. It's a pity it's so quiet. I'd have loved for there to be some music. He flashed you a lopsided grin. Or dancing, even. That's asking for too much, I know. However, when I visited this place, either here or home, it's livelier than this. Such a shame, but I suppose they can't have a soiree every night. You're nodding along to what Yes! Baxter was singing, so something about this last particular part caught your attention, here or at home. You've been to the country club before. I mean, to this one.
Yes.
That's right. It was only the once, though. About, 5 years ago, I believe. You remember I mentioned that the dance circuit used to meet at the place. That's partially thanks to my parents, but regardless of why, the group had friendly relations with the company. So when we were traveling to other locations for competitions, it was a tradition to host events at the other branches of the same club. While we were here, it was only a formal meal, unfortunately. We were meant to rest between dances rather than spend the evening on the floor. It was a dull affair, as you might imagine, although I did manage to get some fun out of it. It so happened that another event had been booked for the same day. A true celebration. They had live music and the stage was open for couples to dance. How lucky for me. I snuck out of the dinner and came over to where the burial party was. It was the night of the, summer soiree. Perhaps you know about all that as a fellow member. No way. No way! I was at that party too! But I was not dancing, I don't think. I was probably consoling... oh my god, what is his name? Cove. I forgot his name for a split second. You were pretty sure you remember that night. You remembered right. Your moms had made a big deal of it, calling it your first step in becoming more of a grown-up. You'd definitely been 13 at the time. It had to be the same party Baxter was talking about. There wasn't any other explanation. Baxter's eyes were very wide as you stumbled to explain this to him. I don't believe it. So we could have met all those years ago. This is so cute. I think I'd rather this one. I think I'd rather both, actually. Because I always love stories where, like, the person met their significant other without knowing they met them. Especially, like, in, like, pictures or something. Like, they took a picture in the same spot, but, like, their significant other was in the background or something. That shit is so cute. That's so cute. Like, what the fuck? You nodded slowly, thunderstruck. You really might have. Baxter brought a hand to his mouth. His lips pursed into a thin line. That's so arbitrary, so unfortunate. Like fate was toying with us somehow. But your red strings pulled each other still. He clicked his teeth. He sounds annoyed. He seems so upset that we didn't know each other sooner. Oh, that is so fucking cute. The fact that it obviously sat so wrong with him was almost as much a surprise as the revelation itself. It wasn't often that Baxter wore anything other than a selection of smiles. As if hearing your thoughts, he quickly rearranged his features into something less morose.
Fine.
Well, now I suppose there's a little point crying over spilled milk. There's no... Oh, there is. Okay. These kinds of coincidences are something special. It would be inconsiderate to complain that it didn't quite pan out perfectly. We might not have spoken, but who knows? Our eyes may have met, or we could have caught a glimpse from a distance. And even if not, I'm glad we had been in such proximity. Oh, he gave you a proper smile and you did your best to return it in kind. Baxter was right there. Baxter was right. There was no point in regretting that things might have been different. Trying to keep the conversation lighthearted, you found yourself recounting the stories of Liz's golfing trips here. Your sister golfs. That's surprising. I'm not sure why it's surprising, but it is. Yeah, when we were little, she used to talk about competing at the Olympics, but maybe it's a good thing she gave up on that idea in the end. You went playfully, remembering the long evenings watching Liz climb in and out of sand pits. Baxter laughed at that, the sound ringing clear as a bell over the empty patio, the grass, and the water, as the sun's dying light caught them all. You'd missed this place. It's been too long since your last visit. Excuse me. Oh my god, am I not going to be able to ask him that last question? Because I kept it last for a reason. Your train of thought was interrupted by the sound of the waitress arriving with your food. 2 steaming plates were placed in front of you, and then you were alone again. Neither you nor Baxter wasted any time tucking in. The food was as good as you remembered, and by all accounts, Baxter was content with his choice too. But you didn't necessarily have to eat in perfect silence. You searched for a topic of conversation. Thank God. Thank God. One question left. Do you have a partner? I don't think so, but I think this is the perfect place to ask too. After our, whole faded conversation. His laid-back demeanor sharpened around the edges. His eyes were smiling at you, even if his mouth wasn't. He enjoyed the implications of this question on a great deal. Homie just loves a tease. We're okay with that. If you're asking if he was single, it's probably because you cared about what the answer might be. His rich brown eyes found yours. I'm unattached. That shouldn't be news to you, though. Why was that not going to be news to me, though? That was true enough. Ever since his first introduction to Cove and you when he arrived in Sunset Bird, Baxter had been open about the fact that he was absolutely extremely available. Oh, he did? I forgot.
So?
And how about you? Is there no special someone in your life at the moment? I'm not really seeing anyone right now. Oh, I see. Have you ever dated before? Sorry if it's embarrassing to talk about. So, who was your first crush? Thanks for telling me. No, have you ever dated before? Might as well, talk about it. He answered you without missing a beat. I have. Nothing long-term, you understand. I haven't suffered any tremendous heartaches as of yet. Being single comes very naturally to me. Besides, I don't think I'm even old enough for anything to have truly qualified as long-term.
Well.
But I've certainly had some experience, let's put it that way. He tittered innocently as his apparent double entender. I'm glad love hasn't been hard on you. I'm in a similar situation, I guess. I don't really know what it's like. I've never dated personally. Well, for our girlie, she's only been with Cove as friends. So she doesn't know what it's like. Well, it's best not to rush into that. And maybe the whole thing isn't your taste. There'd be nothing wrong with that. Having said his piece, his expression dimmed and his eyes wandered lazily away. Who was your first crush? You knew that this question was coming out of the blue, but you were curious, and since you were on the topic of romance anyway, if not now, then when? He scratched his cheek thoughtfully, trying to recall a memory. A very interesting question. It can be hard to put on an exact date and time to emotions. I'd say that I was a bit of a late bloomer. I didn't develop a soft spot for anyone until I was around 12. Some people I knew had their first crush years before that. Really? I guess, technically. I think mine was much around the same age, but I lied. I think mine was maybe 10 or 11. But there was another kid who would attend the same dance hall that I did. Though we practiced totally different disciplines, I was naturally there for ballroom. They were a ballet dancer. But that's something of the past. In truth, when it comes to attraction, I find discussion on flames that are still alight to be more worthwhile. And that was the end of his story, as sparse as it was. Anyway, that's enough about me. Your turn, Michiko.
What do you think?
I know we spoke about dating before, but who did you first feel a connection with? Was there anyone? In this universe, do I have my girl like Cove, but falling out with him? Or do I just keep it platonic? I'm gonna say it was a celebrity, because come on. Everyone's crush had to be a celebrity at one point. Yes, it was hopeless to get it, but the you of the past can help herself. Baxter smiled wistfully and nodded. I don't blame you. The stars in the sky are trying to be seen in many cases. Thank you for telling me.
You're welcome.
Don't mention it. You're most welcome, Ichigo. It was a fulfilling discussion, all told. I feel like we know each other a lot better now, wouldn't you say? His eyes said more than his words did, and both were saying an awful lot. Dude. He wants us. His gaze felt hot on your face. You shyly avoided his eyes. You passed the rest of the meal with idle chatter, exchanging anecdotes and silly stories. Everything was easier with some good food at hand. Eventually, dinner ended. The dishes were cleared and the bill sent for. One of the things you discussed was who'd pay. You'd pay for yours and he'd pay for his. It was fair's that way. It would be split right in half, a team effort. You'd pay for his and he'd pay for yours. It was a little more fun that way. He'd been willing to cover it and you accepted generosity. He was being nice. He insisted on paying the whole bill. It was going to be your treat. It's not a date. It's not a date. He did say he would pay. But I feel like we should pay half and half. Yeah? Or no, I should pay my own? Well, this is like the question of like who's paying for the first date, you know? Because typically, you know, everyone says the man has to pay. But this isn't a date. We're just casually hanging out. So, I'll pay for mine, he can pay for his. And now, he reached over to place his hand on the wrapped-up souvenir. It had sat patiently next to his plate for the whole meal.
Exciting.
I've been eagerly awaiting the right opportunity to open this. No time like the present, wouldn't you agree? Yeah, I want to see what you think. And you will. He pulled the gift squarely in front of him and with a great deal of ceremony, as though it were a beautifully wrapped present with an enormous bow on the top. It was generous of him to play pretend. There was certainly nothing fancy about a cheap plastic bag with "thank you for shopping" printed all down the sides. He closed his eyes and with tentative fingers reached inside and pulled out the souvenir he bought. We bought him a necklace, right? When he lifted his eyelids, and finally saw for the first time, his brows raised in appreciation. He turned the necklace over in his hands, appraising from multiple angles as the warm, dusky glow bathed it in gold. When he ran the stones gently through his fingers, admiring the way they sparkled in the light. Oh, then, not when. It's beautiful, and my favorite colors too. He grinned at you. I'll be sure to get a lot of use out of this. It'll have a place of honor in my closet. It's a wonderful gift. I couldn't have chosen better myself. Having a drop of bright California sunshine to brighten up my college dorm is the very thing I needed.
So charming.
I'll be reminded of you every time I look at it. Thank you, Michiko. You were bashful at this display of his gratitude, but that was worth it to seem so happy. Yo, this is gonna be so sad when he goes back. This is literally a summer romance. He gingerly placed the necklace back in the bag. For safekeeping. I'd be distraught if anything happened to it. Once the bill came and went, Baxter cleared his throat and made the stand. Shall we? You checked around for your belongings and nodded. Yeah, let's go home. Wonderful. You headed through the club and out into the parking lot. Night was beginning to fall in earnest. As you settled in the car, you found yourself gazing back at the place. In your head, you thanked it for so many years of fine food and happy memories. It had been a good day, a lifetime of good days. The last of the daylight was long gone by the time you finally returned to your neighborhood. Baxter had gone more slowly than when you'd left, content to enjoy the drive, almost as if he was trying to delay the end of your sightseeing trip for a little while longer. You felt the same. It had been a special day in many ways. You sighed, forlorn, as the car pulled onto your street at last. Baxter parked and killed the engine, then he shifted in the driver's seat, his hand still on the wheel to face you. I really appreciate your company today, Michiko. I have to confess, I had an itinerary planned in the event that you declined my invitation. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want you to feel obligated to hear me so I'm not lonely. I managed perfectly well. But in the end, I'm grateful it didn't come to that. It was infinitely preferable having the chance to spend a few hours in your company.
Thank you.
Aww. I don't know if you feel the same, or if you did indeed tag along as a favor to me. Either way, thank you. He's so fucking sweet! He's so sweet! Do guys really talk like this? That they're thankful and happy that you spent time with them? Because, you know, I can't say from experience because Tyler and I are always together and we always like appreciate each other's company and stuff. But I've been out of the single game for so many years now. So I don't know what you single Pringles are doing. I don't know if you're getting this treatment, but I really hope you are. Because I know my one friend is not. He is not. And I feel so bad. Baxter finished his brief speech and released the wheel. He made as if to get out of the car without waiting for a response. I was happy to do it when it's been more time. Ooh. You patted his arm reassuringly. Like, don't worry, bro. It was good. It was Gucci. I wanted to spend more time with you. He glanced back, eyes bright. Baxter was awfully pleased, making no attempts to hide that fact. You realized that he'd really been asking you a question in his own roundabout way. He was hoping you enjoy his being there too. It was nice that you could make him happy with such a simple thing. Yo, if you need someone to just go with you to the grocery store and you don't want to go alone, just hit me up. I'm down unless I'm at work. But if I'm not, just pick me up. Let's go. I don't care. My literal love language is quality time, so I don't give a shit where we're going. As long as I'm with you, that's all I care about. That's all I care about. Baxter cleared his throat and shifted in place. His pretend escape plan hadn't included taking off the seatbelt. He undid it then. You moved to do the same, and the two of you got out of the car into the warm night air. I don't know if this is ending soon, so I'm gonna just keep reading. Because by now I would have ended it. A goodbye was on the tip of your tongue when Baxter's voice gave you pause. Ichigo? You turned to where Baxter stood. Baxter was leaning casually against the hood, one hand in his pants pocket. Yes? If you asked for a kiss right now, you would get one, just saying. Or a hug. Forehead kisses too.
Forgive me.
It's been a long day. I'm sure you're tired of questions at this point. If you'll indulge me a while longer, I did have something else in mind to ask. It didn't bother you. You smiled to show that. If anything, you've been the one asking most of the questions. One corner of Baxter's mouth lifted in a crooked half smile. He stood up properly and he continued. Thanks. Well, as I must repeat, today has been particularly lovely. All the lovelier for having spent it with you. And I wonder, would it be too forward of me to consider our time together? Oh my god. A date? A beat. You blinked. Wait, a date? Your voice came out a bit squeaky with surprise, not for the first time today. Baxter had managed to catch you completely off guard. It wasn't lost on him either, but whereas before Baxter might have delighted in getting such a reaction out of you, the expression he gave now was gentle, friendly. Oh, so sweet. How funny considering the entirely more than friendness of the subject. He ran a hand absentmindedly through his hair, searching for the most delicate way to put his bluntness. Have I read the signals wrong? It wasn't the underlying intention when I asked, I assure you. I got the impression of what this may be, or could be, partway through. Was it a date? I mean, I guess it seemed like a date. And if I'm not entirely off, I'd be far more curious to inquire on whether I might consider any future outings together as dates as well. He edged in closer.
To the chase, I'm asking you out.
Thank you. Thank you for being so upfront, because your girl is stupid. Sometimes, you just need to say that out loud, like, this was a date, just saying. That is, if you'd like to spend more time with me, and assuming you'd even want to date a man. I don't treat things that lightly. Why would you want to date me? I don't understand. We barely know each other. I could date a guy. I guess you're comfortable with me. So curiously, the insecurity of me wants to ask, oh, why me? But why me? I don't like to beat about the bush. It's that simple. I want to take you out on dates because it's easy to see how it'd be a nice time. I like being around you. Smile tugged at his lips again, recalling the events of the afternoon. Just today you showed me around your town. We went bowling together of all things and it was wonderful. Then we accompanied each other to a fantastic dinner. You made an effort to come to know me better as an individual, and you were even kind enough to present me with a thoughtful gift. I could not have been happier. By the time you'd finished, Baxter's smile stretched ear to ear. If you don't feel the same, that's fair. I won't be upset with you. Of course. And I'm certainly not intending for this to be a grand romantic overture. Of course you wouldn't believe me if I was claiming to be your one and only for all time. But you are. Are we just doing this as a summer romance thing? He placed a palm to his chest and met your gaze with a crooked smile. I am nominating myself as a suitor for this season. No, you are! A charming summer adventure, no more, no less. So a fling, basically. Only you would describe it like that. You pondered this strange situation. You could only stare with the mouthing. Oh, I don't like these choices. Like, is this mean? Or you should a haha joke. Only you would describe it like that. Does that mean? Baxter laughed, self-effacing, and shrugged. He wasn't about to argue with you about that, but he did make one more attempt to get his idea across. I don't care about what label you choose to put it. I could be your boyfriend or nothing at all. And you can also change your mind without consequence if you find out it's not what you imagined further down the line. It's like fake dating. Fake dating trope. Fake relationship trope. I'd be open to doing that. At your words, he beamed at you, his face bright in the darkness. Well, cause let's be real. Let's be real. It's just a summer romance, you know? In a realistic world, this would just be a summer romance. Just like a summer fling. And then he'll be forgotten. But not really forgotten.
Lovely.
Thank you. You've already given me so much in my time. Given me so much in my time here. I've been very fortunate to have you as my neighbor, and for now as something else. For now. His tone was measured and polite as ever, but you couldn't help but hear an excited edge to the words, as if he were internally bouncing on the balls of his feet with anticipation because he wouldn't do it on the outside. The smell of Baxter's was your favorite. Seeing it, you were already glad to have accepted his offer, on top of your own personal feelings. It was cute to have such an impact on him. Underneath his peculiarities, Baxter was a sweetheart. Of course he is. But once the initial rush had died down, your thoughts drifted to more practical matters. What would you say to people? What would you call this thing between you? You put the question to Baxter, whose eyes lifted up along the edges. Would you care if I told my family or not? My friends are gonna find out for sure, though. But a delightful first concern. It's up to you how we go about it. If it's not something you feel comfortable talking about, then I wouldn't insist. My preference would be not to treat it as a secret, however. Aww, I'm proud to be doing this, but again, I'm a visitor, and this is your home. The choice is ultimately yours. If you're okay with that, I don't mind telling people. I don't mind if you're honest about it. We can tell people, it's cool. I'd rather tell... What the fuck? Excellent. I'll speak casually about it then. My parents are likely to hear the news eventually, though I don't expect you to speak to them. Oh, alright. Now, as much as it pains me to say, I shouldn't keep you any longer.
I'm here if you need me.
Thank you again for a wonderful day, Michiko. If ever you want another, you can call or text me. I'm very able to drop what I'm doing, come see you. Or alternatively, you're welcome to come by my place whenever it strikes you. I'll be in touch too, though, so don't feel pressure to initiate. Oh my god! This guy is perfect! He knows. He's like, you don't have to always do everything. I can do it too. Meet halfway. Oh my god! He lifted his hand in a cheery wave, staying put in order to see you head home.
Good night.
Have a good night. At this closing moment of your day together, it struck you how much of an impact it had on you in such a short time. You hadn't even known Baxter before he showed up that day at the beginning of summer. You were strangers, and then you were neighbors, and now the two of you were dating. This perfect love trope, what the fuck? But you could mull over those thoughts another time. It was getting late and he was waiting for you. In your parting moment with Baxter, you... Oh, there's hug or a kiss. Kiss. Baxter was initially frozen by your initiative. You'd outpaced even him, but not for long. You quickly leaned in to return the kiss. He was taller than you. One hand came up to gently cut the back of your head as you stretched to meet him. His lips were soft against yours. His kiss was... Don't know this word. Chaste? Haste? I don't know. Tender. Your eyes were shut, but you could feel his mouth curl upwards with contentment. You opened them again and there was his face, as dazzling as the stars. Being with him that way was warm and comforting, despite the fact that his shirt felt really stiff, fashion over comfort with Baxter wore.
You're very good.
I must say, I didn't anticipate you'd be the one to pull a move on me so soon. And a daring move at that, but it is far from unwelcome. He laughed quietly behind his hand. There was no chance of you making Baxter shy, but there was a definite coyness to his temperament, and a faint flush to his cheeks. Well then, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, have a good night, Michiko. Good night, Baxter. We let each other go, at least for the moment. Baxter had begun... Oh, he's so cute! Baxter had begun the farewell, yet made no move to leave. He watched you cross the road to your house. You turned on the threshold and waved one last time. A familiar grin was the last thing you saw before the door closed behind you. You'd seen it again soon enough. It was a strange feeling to be back home after such an eventful afternoon. So much happened in the space of a few short hours, and so much had changed. Of course, you were right then. Where you were right then couldn't be described as without excitement. You were greeted almost immediately by footsteps approaching from the hallway. Okay, mums are nosy. I don't think it's ending soon. So anyway, that's where we're gonna stop for today's episode. We have a new man's, I guess a temporary boyfriend, because I don't think they're gonna try this shit long distance. I don't think so. At least I honestly don't think so. I think this is just a summer romance thing, but they're still gonna tell people that we're gonna tell people we're dating. And then break up? I don't know. I don't know how this is working. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.